Blessings, blessings, blessings. Real quick download. This is something I want to share because it was I think it's a level on our journeys that we need to cross, and it's very difficult to cross because it's one of the crossings of where the you that you think you are dies, and then the true you can see, which is the part that's unified with God, right? So the identification with the carnal mind and your name here and your body and all your story here, and then the transcendence of that until your unification with God, right? Just as Jesus spoke that, there's no separation between you, me, and the Father. We are one. All of us are one, right? But that has to happen in your journey. So there's this one threshold to cross, one of the many, but this one is when we're speaking of truth. So say you're already deep in your journey, you already are having revelations, you see your faith is being built, you're understanding things, and whatever your pace is and your time, God is downloading, and you're realizing your unity in whatever pace, and you're seeing it, and you're seeing the supernatural. But then you get downloads, or you listen to other people's teachings and all that stuff, and you see the truth in that. But then you may have your carnal mind kind of still create this duality where it's jumping back and forth, and that duality may be set in an actual truth. So for instance, I'm just going to use me personally. God is not limited to anything, but I use the Bible has a lot of truths, and the ultimate message is true with real life measurable historical events too. So the Bible is very great for that. God did that intentionally. And obviously there's other books that are blessed and holy that's outside the Bible if they bring you to the unification with God. For sure, Jesus is just my teacher. It's been revealed in my life that Jesus is my teacher. My elder brother, he walked that way, he became the way, and then we are the way in the same way of him being our teacher. But I want to explain something, because any unification with God is the way, and God is bigger than a religion. It's not religion. So even though I speak in crystallized Christian concepts, I'm not Christian at all. Jesus wasn't Christian. It's just the truth. And I just adore Jesus because I've felt him, and I know him, and I've met him, and his spirit is I'm one with him, just like all my brothers. And anyone who is unified with the Most High and the great I Am is my brothers and sisters. So I just want to just speak this real quick. I had to clarify that always. But the mind, if you hear it true, so say the mind will say Jesus is Lord and Jesus is God, right? Your mind automatically wants to go, so that means this one's not, and that means I'm not. So I have to go to, your mind wants to separate and divide in duality because the carnal mind is set in a fallen duality. Your spiritual mind, your true self, the spirit man, can understand what I'm about to say right now. That when there's a truth being involved, truth is total, it's whole. That means it's not in duality. So if God says the kingdom is inside of you, within you, and it's outside of you. Because God is whole, is total. God is one, meaning not just one entity. God is one in that it is complete. God is complete and total, transcending duality. So when you're that level of consciousness and you say, and you could say something that may not mean the same thing to someone else. Like if I say Jesus is Lord, I'm saying Jesus is God. I am God. And we are unified with every entity that is God, because God manifests as the Most High, as it's no limitation, and manifests as the many that are one in consciousness. When I had the vision of being with Christ and all the brothers and sisters, we seem to be separate entities in spiritual bodies, but we were one beyond the comprehension you could understand. When you looked at them, you were unified as God with them. We were all God, but also many that were one, participating in this completion that can still manifest as seemingly separate entities, but as one in completion. That's why there's no separation, no sin. That's why Jesus said there's no separation in your spiritual mind if you understand this. So I'm saying this because the Spirit, I feel like, wanted me to help anyone going through this transition. I had to go through this the last few years to understand it, because your mind wants to divide this and it keeps you stuck. You may be stuck. Is that beyond images and beyond religion is truth. And so you can honor the manifestation of a religion, but still honor the truth as well. So for instance, God has all God's truths are representations of activations in your spirit that you fully embody, and also are manifestations of habitations and dimensions. So the Garden of Eden is a place, and it's also within you. It's also a structure within your spiritual consciousness, and it has symbolism for your spiritual activations and everything while you're here. And it also is in a habitation. Jesus was in the flesh and also is God. We are in the flesh, but we're also God. But when we transcend the carnal mind, we are unified with the one, the Most High, which manifests as many and also as one. That's why it says you are sons, co-heirs, right? There's no separation between you and the Father and the Son. You are unified as saints of the Most High. Ye are gods, unified in the consciousness of God. So when you listen, and I want to stay on point here, the point of this message is to lift our consciousness. So when we listen to our brothers and sisters or any other downloads of truth during this time of downloads, when everyone is downloading, we want to listen with that. Do not divide. Unify. Know that it's in you and outside of you. You see an angel. An angel is a manifestation of an entity that's outside of you. But also, when they speak of angels, it can symbolize things inside of you as well in activations, because God is one at that level, total. That's why you don't speak in those realms, because you can just know by just telepathy and all these things, because there's nothing separating you being one, but you still have the experience of being of a spiritual body. That's why it says no mind can comprehend these things unless you're in the spiritual. Only the spirit can comprehend your unification with God. Your Christ consciousness can. But that's just a little breadcrumb as you listen to truth, so that you can stay encouraged and constantly elevate Christ consciousness.